everyone, and welcome to the kind of spiffed up version of my editing workshop from this year's 2024 Filmapalooza in Lisbon, Portugal. So we had some technical difficulties on site and had a truncated version of this, but now I can get into some more of the details and show you some tips and tricks using Premiere, and this will be a much more robust version than you might have seen if you were there. So what we're going to cover today are things like adding intrigue with J and L cuts, using the multiband compressor and the new audio AI enhancements in Premiere. If you're not familiar with nesting, just show you what that's like in case you might want to start using that. Color grading with B-RAW footage, which is the Blackmagic RAW footage type, and it's pretty amazing. And then a last little thing, editing on the go, and I don't mean while running or in the bathroom. I'm going to show you a new device that I'm absolutely in love with. I took on this trip to Lisbon, and it performed admirably, so we'll get into that at the end. But first of all, let's talk about those J and L cuts. So, what does that mean? So you've got, your standard straight cut here, and that's when one clip cuts into the next. And as you can see, if we go to the next one, this is a J cut because the audio changes first and the video changes second, and as you can see, it's in the shape of a J. And the third one is an L cut where the video will change first and the audio will change second, and it's called that because it looks like an L. You can also think of it alphabetically. Audio first is the J. V for video first is the L. Cameron, when I told him about this, he came up with J cut is when the audio jumps first, and the L cut is when it lags after the video edit. Any way you want to look at it, these are cuts that you see all the time in movies, and they're done well. They're very subconscious. You don't take note of it. It just helps to tell the story. And what I do is when I edit a film is I just go through straight cuts everything just to get the timing down, and then I'll go back and try to find spots to add J and L cuts, but not just random. You don't just pepper your film with that. You want there to be motivation behind the reason why you're doing a J or an L cut. And I can show you some of that right now. Okay, so we have a short scene here in which this detective is on the hunt for a killer, and he knows through evidence that the killer is Canadian. So he's interviewing this professor. The names don't really mean anything. He's interviewing this professor about the case. If we jump into Premiere here, this is the scene with just straight cuts edit. You can see the green clip goes to the purple clip, goes to the green clip. There's just straight cuts here. Let's see how that plays. Professor, I see you're running a little late today.
Oh yeah, I don't know what to tell you, Detective. Sorry about that. I'll try to be more punctual next time, eh?
No worries. Okay, so that we as the audience.
Sorry about that.
So we can hear the audience understands that this guy's Canadian. He might be the killer. But does this really astute, intelligent, handsome detective know that? Well, by using, I think, this first one here, this is an L cut. Let's try that scene again with an L cut, and maybe it'll make more sense. It'll give the audience some more. What am I doing here? There we go. Let's go look at this part. So let's see that where we've got an L cut now. So we're going to see me and then the suspect, but there's an L cut. And let's see how that plays off now. Professor, I see you're running a little late today.
Oh yeah, I don't know what to tell you, Detective. Sorry about that. I'll try to be more punctual next time, eh?
No worries. Okay, so as you can see, As soon as he says about that,
Sorry about that. I'll try to be...
we still hear him talking. This is the audio from Cameron's angle. But now, since we cut the video first, we can see my realization. This is giving the audience more information. This is a motivated L cut. It works as a straight cut, but it doesn't give the audience all the information they need. Here we're showing them that the detective realizes this guy could be the killer. So that's an L cut. What about a J cut? Here's a different scene. Let's take a look here.
I've got you now, detective.
Oh no. So that's all well and good too. You know, straight cuts, there's nothing wrong with straight cuts. But if we throw in a J cut, that gives the audience more information. Let's check that out. And here comes the J cut. Ah, there was a gun cocking sound on this clip, which doesn't switch the video until there. So without that J cut, we don't hear that extra information of the gun cocking before we see it. So again, with properly motivated J and L cuts, you're divulging more information to the audience, not just saying, well, I'm throwing a few in here and there just to make it look different. So J and L cuts can be very useful. You know, maybe these aren't the best examples. We just threw these together, but yeah, this is J and L cuts can really, you know, kind of elevate your editing game, and especially when properly motivated. So always be sure to have a reason for the J and the L cuts, and you only need a couple in a short film. It's not like you need a dozen or anything. So try to use those moving forward. But let's see a good example of I think it's a L cut. From Cameron has a series of his top horror films of all time, and he has this clip from the Twilight Zone. You might want to check it out on his website. But let's see how the Twilight Zone used an L cut.
It's the kind of place you see only in nightmares.
This guy's having some weird hallucination. There's a crazy woman telling him to jump and kill himself. So here the video cuts early, but we still hear the audio of her voice. So this is telling us that this is haunting this man. He is you know, living with this memory of this woman trying to get him to commit suicide. So that's a really good motivated L cut right there. Okay, so now we're going to get into some audio that capturing this didn't quite work on my MacBook, so I'm doing it on my PC, and I had to shrink my Premiere down to just one window for this. Normally I use all three. I mean, you know. Anyway, let's jump into some audio work. As you can see in this first clip here, I was shooting a friend of mine. He's trying to launch a kind of a wildlife web series, and he just sat down next to this. I was just shooting B-roll, and he said, "Hey, I want to capture this. I have something to say here. So let's see what happens when I didn't have him mic'd, and I only had the on-camera mic on my Blackmagic. Let's take a listen."
Together, we'll go on an exciting journey to explore and learn more about the...
Okay, so that's just almost inaudible. That's the original audio that I captured, and I'm going to boost this up 15 decibels.
Furry, feathered, and scaly friends.
Maybe we can even, you know, go to our audio effects special, fill right with left, so that it's in both channels, as you can see now over here on the right.
Conserve their environments and make sure that these species...
Okay, so I cranked it up all the way, and we can barely hear it. I'm going to bring it back down to 0, if I can get it down right. Okay, 0.3 is going to have to be good enough. So what you can try in situations like this is under audio effects, amplitude, and compression, there is what's called the multiband compressor. So down here, I've got this clip twice. So we're going to leave this first one untouched so we can compare. But on this second clip, I'm going to drop the multiband compressor on here. And under our effect controls, we have the multiband compressor. So let's see what happens.
and scaly friends to learn how to
Nothing happens. It's kind of stupid, but when you drop the multiband compressor on an audio clip, nothing happens. You have to go to the settings, click on edit, and then here's a bunch of, if you're into audio and you understand all this, great. I was never really an audio guy, but I know enough to fix this, or at least get it to be in a better state. And since it's not done anything yet, what you need to do is go up to the presets. And I'd like to choose broadcast as a good starting point, but I tweak it a little bit. Right now it's saying it's going to make the loudest part of this audio all the way up to 0 dB, which is technically peaking, and we don't want to do that. So I'm going to limit it to maybe -3 dB. I also like to change the attack down to 2 milliseconds, which is how quickly it's measuring the audio that needs to be boosted. And I'm going to bring the release down to 250. You can fiddle with all these settings if you know what you're doing. I found these stock settings work really well. So when I close that, now let's listen to him.
and scaly friends
Okay, so let's look over here.
friends
Maybe I should just for comparison's sake put fill right with left on this as well. So on the original untouched version, let's look at the meters on the right over here.
scaly friends
That has nothing else other than fill right with left.
to learn how to properly
And
conserve
we're getting up to maybe -20 or -36 dB. With the multiband compressor over here,
scaly friends to learn how to properly
it's helped, but it's not good enough. So what I'm going to do on this one is just delete the multiband compressor, and we're going to jump into the new Audio Essentials, Essential Sound. Here we go. What we do here is we take the clip, and since it's dialogue, we click on dialogue. Now there's presets here. He's far away. We can make close up, or maybe let's try make close up, since it's going to take a miracle, right? So we make close up, but I've discovered that might be peaking, so I uncheck loudness, and you can alter some of these settings here if you'd like. Oops, vocal presence. Didn't mean to change that, but that's a good thing to change too. Vocal presence. Yep, perfect. And you might have to dial down some of the dynamics and some of the amount here. But let's see what it's going to do. When we have to click on it, we still haven't done anything yet. You have to click on Enhance, and then as you can see, it says Initializing. And what it's doing is uploading your audio to the Adobe Cloud, where it uses AI to try to make this better. Look at down here now. Compared to over here, here's the original again.
to learn how to properly conserve their environment
It was at like -36 dB.
and make sure that these
What does it sound like now with the audio AI?
These furry, feathered, and scaly friends.
What just happened? It sounds like he's mic'd. Now, as you saw, it was peaking. It was a bit red, so we can change some of these values and maybe get it a little bit better. So I'm going to do that by first of all hitting undo, Control Z, coming back to this clip, and then maybe dialing down the amount and some of the dynamics. Let's get it in there. Hit Enhance again. Or maybe reanalyze. Oh no, that did it. Look at this. Look at down here now.
Furry, feathered,
It's not peaking as much. I'm going to undo one more time. Let's bring this amount down more, less on the dynamics. Reanalyze. Maybe that'll help. Enhance.
more about these furry, feathered, and scaly friends to learn how to properly
So let's kind of compare this. I'm going to put this enhanced clip on top of the other clip, and
Or about these furry,
right there after furry, that's where we're going to switch to the new enhanced AI version. And let's just take a listen to the difference.
Together, we'll go on an exciting journey to explore and learn more about these furry,
feathered, and scaly friends to learn how to
So this can save your bacon on a shoot. He sat down to do this. I was like, well, this isn't going to work. This audio AI stuff is amazing. Now, the multiband compressor can help improve well-captured audio. But for extreme situations, this audio AI is amazing. But let's jump into a couple more examples. So here we have, I did this is recorded on my cell phone in this room. It was a brief introduction to a film that a festival said if you can't be in attendance, you can send us in a quick 1-minute clip. So here I am, and listen to how the quality of the sound. I made the poster for Duality, which you're about to see. I've been, like I said, it's across the room, hard walls, tile floor. It's a bit echoey, right? So let's see what AI can do with this. On the second clip, I'm just going to go over to our dialogue. Well, we could do. Well, let's not even fill right with left this time. Let's see what the audio AI does. Go to our dialogue, and let's go to, this time, make a medium shot. And I'm not even going to mess with the other settings here, which, the more you get into this, the more you're going to want to fiddle. But let's just click enhance and see what happens. Uploading, analyzing, downloading. So again, we have this. And I made the poster for Duality, which you're about to see. So again, it's kind of, a little bit on the low side, a little bit echoey. And now let's see. And I made the poster for Duality, which you're about to see. I've been a long-time participant here. What just happened? The echoey room tone is gone. It's like I'm closely mic'd. This audio AI is amazing. But wait, there's more. Let's just do a couple more examples for fun. Okay, so this is a new short film I just shot with my coworker and good friend Krista here. And let's listen to her.
I really thought a parent's job was to love them, protect them.
So we had her boomed. It's not bad. The multiband compressor trick might help this. Let's just jump right into audio AI. So for this version of the clip, I'm going to go to dialogue. And again, I kind of like that make medium shot. Let's just roll with it and enhance and see what it does. So again, let's try this, where I'm going to put the clip on top. And, I don't know if it was the same clip. Oh, it looks like it. Let's go right about here. And listen in.
Your children. I really thought a parent's job was to love them.
Protect them. Generally, I don't know, be a decent human being.
Again, we just mic'd her up in post. Let's do one last one. I got one last one up my sleeve for you. So this is from the same film, and let's listen to my audio here. I gave you everything you ever wanted. I sacrificed for this family. Now you can't really tell, so I'm going to increase the audio here. Let's listen again. There's an airplane in the background. I gave you everything you ever wanted. I sacrificed for this family. Is it going to work? Okay, so we're going to go to dialogue. Let's try that make a medium shot. Let's just turn off loudness for this one and hit enhance. And now we can hear the difference. I was a good father. I gave you everything you ever wanted. I sacrificed for this family. Okay, so you can still hear it a little bit, but not in the quiet parts. So let's compare. Gonna zoom in here, double this up. Let's jump to right about there. And we're going to hear the difference between the original and the cleaned up version.
I was a good father. I gave you everything you ever wanted. I sacrificed for this family.
Hear that? Let's go jump in to more of where the audio had the airplane.
I was a good father. I gave you everything you ever wanted. I sacrificed for this family.
So it really minimized that airplane due to this Adobe AI magic. So, as I said, if you've got, some well-captured audio and it needs a little boost, the multiband compressor works wonders. But for situations where you've got some issues, this essential sound in Premiere, it's now audio AI. It uploads to the cloud, it analyzes it, and it's miraculously it fixes everything. So give it a try. Change some of these settings. There's a lot of presets up here. Remove background Walla Walla. We've always been able to make it sound like it's on the telephone, but this make distant, make close up, make medium shot. Give these a shot at fixing up the audio that needs enhancement, because as I've said many times, audio is the number one thing that'll get your film rejected from a festival. If you start off the film and the a person who's like grading, judging the submitter information and watches the film, the screeners, if your audio's not good, they won't even finish watching your film. So hopefully you captured it right the first time. If not, try audio AI to come to your rescue.
So nesting, what is nesting? Well, here we have a shot of my latest short 48-hour film, and as you can see, I've color coded the clips and the angles, and it's a short film, so there's not much going on to it. But what you can do, what nesting is I hate repeating the words. When you edit a scene in a timeline, and then you edit a different scene in a different timeline, and another scene in another timeline, then on your master timeline of the final finished film, you can just place these big chunks of scenes, and it's a better organizational method. And what does that look like? It looks like this. So as you can see, it just streamlines and organizes and helps you to focus on the scenes and how long they're taking. The only external audio at this point would be music that goes over multiple scenes. But yeah, it's a great way to keep you organized. So check out nesting if you want to give it a whirl, and maybe it's right for you. It sounds like a prescription pill ad now. Don't take nesting if you're allergic to nesting. Okay. Now for some fun stuff. Look at this clip. This clip was shot wrong. I mean, if somebody were to shoot this footage and give it to you and say, here you go, well, okay, we're going to try to fix it, right? So it's very blue. Let's warm it up. Ugh, it's so bright. Let's bring the exposure down. Drop the highlights. Drop the whites. That's not working. Drop the black levels. There's a lot of... see, this cloud is clipped. It's called clipping when it's just a pure white shape. The Lumetri, we're not able to do anything with this. I'm going to just reset that. Get rid of it. Delete it off there. However, we're in luck. This was shot with a Blackmagic camera, and they have a raw footage option. They call it B-RAW. So in Premiere, if you have B-RAW footage, you can go over to the Effect Controls, the Source tab, and there's this Blackmagic RAW drop-down that's listed right there. So right now it says decode using the camera metadata, which means I'm going to show you the clip as it was shot with all the settings that were in the camera. But as we can see, some of those settings were wrong.
So if we change camera metadata to clip, and watch this magic here. So first of all, the gamma mode is shot wrong. It was shot in video, which is kind of like the black magic version of baking in a LUT. So if we want full control over this, we have to switch it back to film. Okay. We can see more cloud now. There's something happening here. This is getting better. But the color temperature is set to indoors at 3200. Yes, you can actually change the settings of the camera in post. Now we can finally fix it in post. So if we change this to outdoor, more like 5600, oh, okay. Now the sky is looking like the right shade of blue. The grass is no longer blue, now it's green. This is working out well. And we're recovering a lot of the cloud, but if we click on highlight recovery, look at the difference between here's just a blown out clipped cloud, but with highlight recovery, now we're seeing all the detail that's in there, all the white puffy clouds. I also like to use video black, and that kind of deepens it. You can certainly go into a few more details here, but I like to do that in Lumetri instead. So changing the decode using so that we have manual control over this clip, change it to clip, change the gamma mode, click on highlight recovery. You can even change the ISO. If it was shot too dark, you can brighten it up with the ISO, but it was at 100, so that's good. So gamma mode change to film, highlight recovery, and the color temperature. Now if we go over to our just the clip tab over here, now if we start to do some Lumetri, we can really dial it in. One thing you always want to do is crush the black levels down to just starting to touch into the 0 range right there. That gives it some more depth. Let's increase the saturation. Oh, it's looking good. Maybe bring the highlights down a little bit, the whites down. Exposure's pretty good. Maybe bring that down a touch. More contrast. Oh yeah, look at that. Bring down the shadows, there we go. So there. We've gone from this to this. All through the magic of the B-raw settings and a little bit of color correction. So, I know everybody's got their cameras and Canons and Sonys and Nikons, oh my, but if you want to really, up your game, I mean, the Black Magic line of cameras is amazing. Now, obviously, if you shoot this correctly the first time, you don't need to touch your B-raw settings, but it's nice to have the option to fix your mistakes. I mean, I don't work for them, but yeah, I'm a Blackmagic guy at this point. Lastly, let's go over editing on the go, which is a Lenovo Legion Go is what it is called. If you're like me, an 8-hour trip across the Atlantic to go, to film a Palooza in Lisbon, Portugal sounds amazing, but not the 8-hour flight part. So if you're like me and you've got a little bit of maybe ADHD or I don't know what I got, it's undiagnosed, whatever it is, but I felt the need to look into entertainment on the plane. Now, I know that we all probably as filmmakers have laptops that we take with us for remote work, but those aren't going to work too well on an airplane when the guy in front of you leans his seat back. So I wanted something more in the style of a Steam Deck. So I stumbled across this new device, a handheld gaming PC. There's a couple of entries in the marketplace, and I settled on the Lenovo Legion Go. This thing is not it is a game machine, but it's for PC games, which means it's a whole entire Windows 11 system. And as you can see here, I've got it running Premiere. It runs the Adobe software. This isn't a screenshot. I'm going to use the mouse here. Oh, there, picks up. Can we go hit play? Sure, this.
this was my live presentation at Filmapalooza, but I'm redoing it here because it was sort of truncated. So this last part of the presentation, I'm going to cover all the things that the Lenovo Legion Go can do. So let's get started. First of all, this form factor is weird because it's designed to be a gaming PC. You could play Skyrim, which I do, but I use a mouse and keyboard. But it plays all those games. However, this is for the gaming part. That's what these things on the side are for. But you know what you can do? Take them off. This is the whole PC right here. It's the same size as an iPad mini, but thicker to house all that's needed to run Adobe. You can look up some specs online for the Lenovo Legion Go. I did some test renders on my last short film with full color grading and everything. I think it was about a 6-minute film, and it took around 11 minutes to render. So, if you want to use this on a 48, it's fine. It does good work. It's even better when it comes to like convention work, which I used to do, wherein you'd have to I went to Vegas a lot, and we would hit the convention floor and record snippets of interviews with people. We have to go back to our office in one of the rooms and on our laptops, turn around edits of short little sound bites from people talking about hitting numbers and the great year they had and all that, whatever the stupid stuff they talk about. And that would have to be played back at like the banquet that night. I threw some footage in here that already had a LUT baked in. If you don't have to do any crazy editing, it actually renders in about 3/4 of the time. So I had a 5 or 6 minute film or a series of clips that I threw in there, not like a color graded film or anything. It was like GoPro footage and stuff with LUTs baked in. So it was pretty much straight cuts editing, and that film rendered in 75% of the time. So I think it was a 6-minute film, and it rendered in 4 minutes. So this offers really decent editing prowess. And keep an eye on this space, because as it progresses, this is going to get more and more powerful. We need to, as content creators, jump on this bandwagon, because I think this is the form factor of the future. As I said, here's a picture of me flying to Morocco and watching the amazing race on this device. No worries about if the guy in front of me was going to lean back. Also, I have a Scott eVest, which has extra pockets for like your passport and phones and stuff like that. This fits into one of those pockets, so it gave me peace of mind to be able to carry it around instead of leaving it in my hotel room. Also, I have a tiny backpack, plops right in there easily. It's super duper portable, powerful enough at this time, and it's going to keep getting more powerful. Another reason is cost. Mark does a great job of paying you a $10,000 stipend for me to do Filmapalooza workshops. Wait, that's not how much the stipend is? Well, how much is it? What? But, this is only $700. If you were to buy a comparably powerful laptop, it would be 3 times the cost. So, great portable form factor, dirt cheap in terms of what it can do. Peace of mind, I have a portable mouse I bring with it, fold-up keyboard, everything stows and fits. And one of the things that you're going to want to get to really make it infinitely expandable, and by infinite I mean like 7 or 8 ports, is one of these USB-C hubs. Now, the Lenovo Legion Go actually has a USB 4 port, actually 2 ports, which is highly expandable. With that, you plug this into the Go, and then this is a USB-C port that goes into the wall, so you have full power the whole time. You've got 3 of the blue USB, which I think means powered, 2 of the regular or USB 2 ports, HDMI out, an SD card reader, and a micro SD card reader, what they're now calling TF card readers. So with this, you can just plug in anything you want, which really helps with editing. If you're going to be using this for Adobe products or your other, DaVinci Resolve works on this just as well. The difference between this and other handheld gaming PCs on the market right now is that those other ones have a 7-inch screen. This is an 8.8-inch screen. Now, that doesn't sound like a lot, but it makes a big difference, especially since the other guys on the market are HD screens, 1920 by 1080. With this being 8.8 inches, they bumped it up to, I forget the numbers, so I'm going to put them on the screen. So in other words, there's actually a lot more screen real estate on this that makes it usable to edit in After Effects and Premiere and all the apps that you use. In a pinch, on-the-go editing. See what I did there? On the go. They can go. Anyway, on-the-go editing is fine with this one screen, but it's a lot easier with more than one screen. Here it is with an iPad working as a secondary monitor, and here it is with a actual portable 15-inch monitor that plugs in via one of these USB ports. But let's have some fun with that. How many screens does the Legion Go drive? Well, let's find out. First of all, you've got the touchscreen monitor here. You can add a portable monitor that connects via USB to a USB hub I have in the back here. See, if I go to my, well, there's the mouse over there. But if I go to my display settings and click on identify, let's say this is 1 and that's 2. I think we can do some more. You can also add via USB cable a full-size iPad. Now, there is extra software you have to get called Tubon. I'll put a link on the screen. But see what happens. Like that it is. And run Tubon. Now it shows 3 monitors. Identify. 1, that's now 2, and the portable monitor is number 3. And so, let's keep going. I've added an HD TV, just a small little HD TV, via the HDMI connector on the side of the hub. And now, if I hit identify, 1, 2, 3, 4. Didn't it? Okay. We've got a second HDMI TV. Oh, it's reading the drivers. Hold on.
Despite the Legion Go seeing that there was this HD TV monitor hooked up to it, for some reason the monitor never accepted the signal. So I feel as though a different monitor might have worked.
It fucking works. For shits and giggles, I thought I'd pull out an old CRT I still have, and using a second, now I have 2 USB hubs hooked into this because the second one is an older hub I have that has a VGA out. So this thing is running the VGA. If I hit identify, that's now number 2. Oh my God. And if I go across, oh, see, there's the mouse. For all you old schoolers, I thought you'd enjoy this. Kind of a throwback. And for all you kids out there, that thing is really heavy. So you're welcome.
Well, that about wraps things up for this presentation. Hopefully you caught the truncated version in Lisbon. If not, there's a reason why I did this, to give you the full experience. Hopefully you picked up a tip or trick or two. I mean, I know that everybody who's watching this has won their city for the 48, so you probably know all this stuff, but hopefully it helped in some way, except for any teams in Orlando. Don't pay any attention to this video because I want to win next year. But yeah, hopefully I will see you in Seattle.
Aprendi a ser soldado, passei a pronto, fiz do fado a minha luz.